Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the BNS channel. My name is Edie. Today's story time. So, when you kind of get something new in your life, I do. I don't know about you, but I research it till it's dead. My husband thinks it's funny. He says, you got to get it straight in your head. And you're right. I just feel like I need to understand everything. I'm very inquisitive, love asking questions, love learning new things. And medically, I love it. Never went to medical school, but with the experience and the knowledge that I've gained over the years, I feel pretty good about understanding, which is a big difference, right? There's a level of not understanding, there's a level of understanding, and then there's a level that you allow the ability to treat, which I am not at that. But with my research, and yes, I do Dr. Google, but at the same token, it's more about case studies and research from universities, specialized doctors that will release information. And so that's the kind of stuff that I love to read. And so with this Tarlov cyst disease, I've been doing a lot of research, and it's come to my understanding that some of the stuff that I have dealt with in the past could potentially have been my cysts in the sacral area showing their weary little heads. Back in 2015, I believe it was September, I had an episode that landed me in an ambulance to the hospital. And so basically what happened is I was on the phone with my daughter and I felt really faint, so much so that my legs kind of gave out. I was sitting on the floor. My husband came in from that garage area and was like, what is going on? I felt nauseous, brought me to the bathroom where I laid on the floor until the ambulance came. I had it was such a strange feeling. So in my life, I've had vertigo. So that's another thing to think about. So that is one of the symptoms of Tarlov cyst disease, is that you can have vertigo, nausea, and dizziness. Think about it. Everything is connected to your spine. Like everything is connected to your spine. And so if there is something growing on your spine that is touching all of these nerves down in the sacral area where they kind of meet, right? Down there, you're gonna have some symptoms if they're symptomatic. So here's the deal. Many people have Tarlov cysts that are asymptomatic for the entirety of their lives, right? They don't touch anything, they don't bother anything. But when they are symptomatic, I think that they either are or they're not. And when they are, you're gonna get the gamut. And so as I'm laying on the floor in the bathroom, it wasn't your typical vertigo. So I've had vertigo before where your room kind of seems spinny or your balance is off, right? And that's a middle ear problem because of the crystals in your middle ear becoming shifting. And so all of a sudden you feel like you're wonky donkey and you don't feel right, okay? Meclizine can help with that, right? These dizzy medicines. But this wasn't what I was feeling. I was feeling a bit of pressure on my chest, which felt weird. And so of course they thought I was having a heart attack, hence the reason the ambulance ride. But at the same token, I felt like I had this rod inside my body, that was making stuff spin, right? And now that I think about it, that rod was my spine. Weird. Okay, so the rod is inside of my body. I feel like everything inside of me is spinning, including my brain. Very bizarre feeling. And this lasted for about 4 hours at the hospital. And it slowly stopped. Slowly. Kind of felt like a merry-go-round. Got the pole in the middle, everything's spinning on the inside, but it wasn't my body and it wasn't the room, right? It was just, I can't explain it. And I couldn't explain it that night either. And so they thought I might've been crazy, who knows? But again, they did think I might have been having a heart attack. So they were monitoring me for that. I had a little bit of tingling in my feet, and I do remember that too. So it goes away. They diagnosed me with migraine-associated vertigo. There was not 1 ounce of me that believed or trusted that diagnosis. the moment I left, I was like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, because I know what vertigo is. I also know what migraines are and what they can do and what non-pain, non-headache migraines are. I've had auras, I've had vertigo, I've had all of that. I know what that is. And this was not that. I'm not saying that what I experienced was because of Tarlov cyst disease. I'm not saying that. However, in my research, this was an undiagnosed, they did diagnose it, but it was like I never really figured out what that was. And I kept for the last years that happened, I've constantly been trying to think about what it could have been. I did research, I've looked it up. I've not found anything. And so I followed up in a week. We did a CAT scan because she thought maybe I'd had a stroke. I have no lesions on my brain. There's nothing showing evidence of a stroke. So those got taken out of the equation. And so here I sit now researching Tarlov cyst disease and vertigo, nausea, fainting, weird pressure in your body, all symptoms that have been reported from Tarlov cyst disease. Listen, again, I don't know that that is a symptom. I don't know that it is correlating to TCD at all. I just know that it's something that happened to me that I've not been able to figure out what it belongs to. And now this kind of shows up and the symptoms are kind of similar. I'm going to do more research, but I wanted to document this to make sure that everybody understood that this could be correlated with it. It might not be, but also to document it for myself because you all know I'm doing a journal of sorts, vlogging my journey of this Tarlov cyst disease, because if it does make it to the point of surgery, I want to be able to document all of this and all of my findings, all of my learnings. And a lot of that is for you guys so that you can learn about the actual disease. If you've just been diagnosed with it and you're following along, then maybe some of these might be helpful to you, right? Just information wise, and to know that you're not alone. All right. So, story complete. I will X out the dishwasher's on, which is what you're hearing in the background. I hope you have an amazing day. We'll see you on the next video. Bye now.